Welcome to today's video. In this video, we're gonna solve the age-long question of new build versus resale. So if you're looking to buy and considering buying a new build, then this video is for you because we're gonna cover the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna share an important reminder with you. You're definitely not gonna wanna miss that. We're gonna jump into the video right now. Hey, I'm Rich, and if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about lifestyle, real estate, and new builds in Tucson and Southern Arizona, then you've come to the right place. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and tap the little bell for notifications so you can be the very first to learn everything you want to know. So having lived in Tucson my entire life, it's the city that I know best and the city that I love the most. With over 15 years of experience as both a certified real estate appraiser and a realtor, we get calls and texts every single day from people just like you who are looking to make a move, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving today or whether you're moving a year from today, feel free to call, text, email, or even schedule a free Zoom consult so we can get linked up. We'd love to help make your move smooth anywhere in town. All right, starting off with the pros. Number one on the pros column is lack of competition when it comes to buying a new build versus a resale. Coming out of the post-COVID era of real estate, all of us, from real estate agents to buyers to even sellers, we've all gotten used to what a post-COVID era looks like, meaning lots of competition. Oftentimes things are moving really, really quick. Specifically for buyers have gotten used to the steep competition that they potentially are going to go against in order to win the home that they absolutely love. Now, the reason why this is one of the biggest pros is because when you go to a new construction site, the builder is literally building brand new inventory. So you're not having to compete with the same buyers that you would in the resale world because the builder can just build another house. They can build another floor plan. You can pick another lot. The options are almost endless, whether you're changing builders, changing lots, changing floor plans. There's gonna be a lot more selection for you to avoid competition. For a similar property that's turnkey in the resale world, you can expect that there's gonna be a lot more competition. I mean, take it back to the COVID era, back in 2021, we were seeing multiple offers on anything. 9 out of 10 homes got multiple offers. And if the home was nice and new, it was very, very turnkey, move-in ready, man, the sky was the limit for the amount of offers that we could get. At the height of COVID, I remember presenting 27 offers that we had gotten over the span of 3 days. From Thursday to Sunday, we got 27 offers, and I had the pleasure of presenting 27 offers to this very nice woman who had no clue what I was talking about after about offer number 5. So skip that altogether. That is definitely going to be one of your biggest advantages and one of the biggest pros to buying a new build versus buying a resale home. On top of that, if you really want to know about the competition in the resale world for a really nice move-in turnkey home, at the height of the competitive post-COVID market, I ended up selling one of our listings $180,000 above asking price. It was like almost 15% above the asking price, which is just ridiculous. But that's how competitive it was. So long story short, going to a new build site and considering a new build versus a resale is a huge advantage just because you're not gonna deal with the headache of as much competition. Number 2, builders offer incentives. You definitely want to take advantage of discounts and incentives. It's one of the biggest secrets of the new construction game. Whether you're talking about an interest rate incentive, I mean, I've seen when rates are 5, 6, 7%, I've seen interest rate incentives that are almost half of that for a 30-year fixed loan. And they offer that to try to incentivize buyers to buy their product instead of going to the resale world. So you can get interest rate incentives, you can get things like closing cost incentives. Typically, you're gonna have between 1 and 2% of the sales price So if you're buying a $400,000 house, you might have $4,000 to say $8,000 in closing costs. That's your title, escrow fees, your prepaids like property taxes and insurance. You might have some appraisal costs, some lending costs. That kind of breaks down that cost for you a little bit. And that cost, a lot of times with the builder, they're gonna cover that entirely, which means it's less cash out of your pocket when you close on the home. The other cool thing is you're gonna get discounted insurance premiums. Now, this can kind of work two ways. Depending on the builder, they might have an in-house home insurance provider. And in that case, they offer a discount right off of the top. So they'll probably save you $100 to $200 a month on your homeowner's insurance. If you want to use your existing homeowner's insurance, they will still offer, in most cases, some pretty severe discounts on a new home because all the components are brand new. There's very little risk to them of any type of maintenance or catastrophic thing going on because everything's new. Everything's up to code. Everything is very little wear and tear. So from an insurance perspective, they're gonna give you a lot of discounts just because all the building components are new, and that can equate to saving you a lot of money on your monthly payments. Now compare that to the resale world. You're not gonna get nearly as many discounts. If you happen to hire just a stud rock star agent, they're gonna be able to negotiate you some money off of the initial price, maybe some seller concessions on that initial offer. Maybe you get into the inspections and your savvy agent is able to navigate that like a wizard and get you some additional items repaired, maybe a home warranty. But there's still a limitation with that because it's all having to be fought for after the fact. With new construction, they're offering this to you on a silver platter. They're greeting you at the door with these incentives saying, "Hi, welcome in. Here's what we have to offer. Please take it." So it's a lot easier knowing that they're coming, right to you from the get-go with these incentives versus them kind of stockpiling them and only giving them to you if you're willing to fight and if something happens where they have to. All right, number 3 on the pros is customization. It's probably not a secret, but with a new build, you have just a plethora of customization options that you can choose from floor plan, the lot that you pick, the interior and exterior finishes. That includes your paint, your tile, your cabinetry color, your cabinetry type, your countertops, your bathroom fixtures, your lighting fixtures. I mean, you name it. Whether you want to put a specific window here by the bedroom or you want to put specific chandeliers, anything you want to do with a new build, the world is your oyster. A lot of times they're going to make it happen and be more than happy to accommodate. Now, you compare that to a resale home. Almost every buyer that we work with that ends up buying a resale home, they usually have an idea of what they're planning on renovating. It could be something minor. It could be something like, hey, I'm gonna rip up that old carpet in the bedrooms and I'm gonna put some new carpet, or I'm gonna get rid of the carpet altogether. I'm gonna change paint. I'm gonna do something new with the kitchen. Could be extreme, like they're remodeling the entire house, they're gutting it. All that to say, with a resale world, typically buyers go into it already planning on renovating or upgrading something, which just kind of lends itself to the idea that you tend to make a little bit more sacrifice on what you want when you go with a resale home versus a new build. Number 4 on the pro list is maintenance and repairs. As you can probably guess, because the home is brand new, maintenance is gonna be very, very, very low. Is there still maintenance on a new home? Yes, but most likely the maintenance is gonna be very minimal. And more importantly, you're not gonna be maintaining something that hasn't been maintained in the past. So if something's been maintained over the course of 10 years, maintenance should stay relatively low. If it's the first time something's been maintained in 10 years, you're probably running uphill with that particular item. With a resale home, that's a lot of what you see that you completely avoid with a new build. You got low maintenance, all the components are brand new. You've got minimal repair costs. Most everything is covered under a manufacturer warranty. And one of the unique things about a new build is most builders also offer a 10-year structural warranty. So that can cover the structure of the house, the roof, the ceiling, the exterior walls, the foundation, all of your big structural components are going to be covered under that 10-year builder warranty. Now again, take resale homes. There are aftermarket warranties that you can buy, but they're not as robust. I mean, you can buy some home warranties through Old Republic or 210 Home Warranty or Home Warranties of America, and they'll cover some of your appliances, maybe some of your interior finishes. They're not going to be as robust as a 10-year structural warranty that a builder offers, and the warranties that are offered on brand new appliances tend to be better than what the home warranty department or what the home warranty third parties are going to be able to offer as well. The other thing worth mentioning is in Tucson, the average age is about 50 years of a home in Tucson. So you're talking, 5 decades of wear and tear, questionable maintenance, whether somebody's been really on top of the maintenance or maybe not so much, and they just slapped some paint on it, called it good, and then sold it to you. So with new builds, you're not having to worry about that at all. But with resale homes, that is definitely one of the risks that you run, is you're inheriting someone else's maintenance plan over the last 50 years, and whatever's about to happen could happen on your watch. And number 5 on the pro list is energy efficiency and technology. So these new construction homes are built with the latest and greatest tech. And they're also built with some of the latest and greatest smart home features, from smart thermostats to smart dampers for the air conditioning, the AC systems, the appliances. They're all Energy Star rated, most of them. They're very, very efficient. They're quiet. They cool quicker. They cost less per month. This also goes into creating a much lower monthly utility cost, because the homes are built with not only the appliances and the mechanical systems that are efficient, but all of the stucco, all of the building materials, the insulation, the drywall, everything is modernized and really sealed up much, much tighter than, say, a home that was 50 years old, just because, much like buying a phone, it's upgraded every year. That's the same thing with building components. They have gotten much better over the course of 50 years. And how that equates to a homeowner is much more efficient components, and more efficiency means a lower monthly cost on your utility bill. So that could save you hundreds of dollars a month, thousands of dollars a year with a new build versus a resale home. Now, don't get me wrong, with a resale home, you can modernize it for sure. You could do some new smart thermostats. You could put some more modern wiring, plumbing, even insulation, but it becomes expensive. And there's a certain point at which it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for those components to be ripped out and replaced. So there is a limitation to what would be considered reasonable to do on a resale home. Not to say you can't do it, but economically and financially, a lot of times you don't see buyers buying resale homes and then opting to do a lot of those things because it's not really cost effective. The other thing that I wanted to mention about these building materials is, if you can remember things like lead-based paint and asbestos, those are two things that are common in our market in Southern Arizona, especially for homes built prior to 1978, which a large majority of homes in our area have been. So you've got potential for exposure to lead-based paint. I don't want my kids around that. I don't really want to be exposed to it. You've got exposure to asbestos shingles on the interior, exterior, around the house. That can be really terrible for your lungs, get in there and cause all sorts of damage. So because with the older homes, you have a higher likelihood for a health and safety risk, that could be something to consider, why a lot of people go the new build route as well. It's just more peace of mind. So that wraps up the pros. Let's jump over to what the cons are. And at number 1 is the cost. The cost of a new construction home is higher than competing resale homes in the same area. A lot of times these new build sites are located in close proximity to existing resale neighborhoods. And so you can easily compare and contrast. In our market, it tends to be about 10 to 30% more for a new build versus a competing resale home that's been renovated to a similar extent. Now, the main reason that is because people pay for convenience. Specifically in real estate, people pay for turnkey properties. The premiums that are paid in the real estate market by buyers are paid for homes that are turnkey. They don't require a lot of decision making. They don't require the buyer to think, what do I still have to do? I'm gonna have to paint that. I gotta rip the carpet out. I gotta buy some, I have to buy some additional appliances. That roof looks sketchy. Anytime a buyer goes into that mode, they typically are willing to pay less. Every time they do that, having worked with so many buyers over the course of 14 years, I know when they start doing that in their mind, what they're doing is they're lowering the price or the value in their mind of the home. Now, the inverse of that with a new build is if they don't have to think about anything, everything's covered under warranty. It's beautiful. It's exactly what they wanted, from the paint color to the flooring, to the kitchen, to the floor plan, the lot, everything. They're gonna be a lot more likely to say yes to whatever price that builder is selling that home at, as long as it fits within their budget. And that is why the cost of these new build homes tends to be a little bit higher. On top of that, you're getting modernized equipment, you're getting modernized building components as well, which we talked about. Number 2 con for buying a new build is the noise of a busy construction site. Now, having worked in new builds both as a real estate appraiser and a realtor for over a decade, I've spent a lot of time at these sites, and they are noisy. There's always work going on. There's cranes lifting building components on roofs. They've got people hammering things. You've got jackhammers going on, landscape going in. There's dust. There's trash and debris kind of blowing through the neighborhood. There's these big, gigantic roll-off trash dumpsters that are filled with stuff, and there's trash all around them. So driving through these sites isn't exactly the picturesque drive home during construction. And a lot of these sites have several years of construction in them. So if you're one of the newer people, if you're one of the first buyers in a community or somewhere in the middle, you could be looking at a year, 2 years, maybe even longer, where you're dealing with construction noise, traffic, debris, dust. So I do think that that's one of the reasons that this is an important con to consider. All right, number 3, this one really hits home for me: mature landscaping. Now, before you jump to conclusions, let me explain. Landscaping for a home is very important because it adds a little bit of curb appeal, especially in the desert where we're used to seeing a lot of dirt. Having some trees, having some shade, having some greenery and some foliage is very important for the curb appeal of a house, but also the enjoyment of the outdoor spaces, whether it's the front yard or the backyard. With a new build, typically your front yard is landscaped, but as you can imagine, they're not mature landscaping. It's landscaping that's gonna take several years to mature, especially the trees. Trees don't grow fast. I probably didn't break that news to you right now. So it takes several years for trees to go to a mature place where they are supplying legit shade so that you can enjoy them. With a resale home, a lot of times you already have that. Even in the communities of new build sites, they're planting all of the landscaping, and it's gonna take probably 3-5 years before that landscaping starts to mature to a point where it looks lush. And that is definitely one of the disadvantages that I see in a new build, and that's why it made the list of cons. Number 4 on the list of cons is neighborhood statistics and crime rates. Because new build sites are new, there tends to not be a whole lot of demographics available or crime statistics available. So if this is something that you're really concerned about, it could be difficult to try to determine what the crime trends are in this particular area. Now, if you happen to be looking at a new construction site that's next to a resale location, you could probably borrow some of that data, assuming that, hey, this is within close proximity, so whatever they're experiencing as far as crime trends most likely will carry over to this new build location. However, you may not have that convenience. You might be looking at a new build location that is kind of off the beaten path, or in a new area that is gentrifying and changing and building up a lot. They may not have that crime data and that demographic data available for you to ensure that location is one that's going to support your long-term or short-term goals for where you want to live. Now, when you compare that to a resale neighborhood, most resale neighborhoods in Tucson have been around for 50 plus years. So you've got decades of data to be able to analyze to get a really good sense from the statistics of the neighborhood of what type of neighborhood you're buying in and what type of neighborhood you're considering. And the fifth and final on the con list is your resale consideration. Here's something to consider when you're buying a new build. And I know this from personal experience, having helped so many clients purchase their new builds and eventually sell it. If they end up selling that new build that they bought several years later, but the new construction site is still active in the area selling new builds, that can pose a significant challenge to the inventory and ultimately to the marketability of their home. So if you own a home, if you were to buy a new build and a couple years later you wanted to sell it, but the new site or the new construction sales office was still active in close proximity to your home, that's your direct competition. And there's some challenges with that because people, if they're looking at your home, they're going to be looking at other homes in the area as well, right? And if there's new construction site that's just down the road and they're selling something similar, certainly they're going to go check it out. Now, what they're also going to check out is the same thing you were interested in, which is all the incentives, right? They're going to be throwing the interest rate incentive, the closing cost incentive, maybe some discounts on their lot premiums or their, structural options. They're also going to get a look at something that is brand new. All of the pros that I covered in the beginning of the video, they're going to be able to explore and make that decision as well. So it is going to be one of your stiffest competition. Some of your stiffest. So it's going to be some of the stiffest competition for your home, even if your home's only a couple years old. The new construction is going to set the high in the neighborhood, and you're almost always, even if you're only a couple years older, you're almost always going to have to sell or consider selling something somewhere below that price. Now, there are some caveats to that, but in general, that is the case. So there you have it. There are the pros and cons to buying a new build as compared to a resale home. I hope this helped in your decision making, considering between the two. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up for me to help the channel out. Helps us out, and I greatly appreciate it. Oh, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more. As always, I like to share a little bit of inspiration to end these videos just to get your mind right for whatever the next thing is you're about to jump into. So here you go. You cannot be everything you want, but you can be everything you are. So hopefully that helps you in whatever you're about to embark into. And remember, whether you're moving today or a year from today, shoot me a call, text, email, or schedule a free Zoom consult. We'd be happy to help make your move smooth anywhere in town. And until next time, we hope to see you around the neighborhood.